It's me, Jackie. I'm doing a Q&A session today to get you guys to know a little bit about me and what I like to do and want to do, everything in between. I asked you guys what you guys want to know about me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and I'm going to answer at least some, if not all of those questions right now. How many hours a day do you practice? Well, I'm going to group this into like weekly instead of hours a day because it varies depending on the day, but I would say I practice at least, give or take, 5 hours a week. I spend that time on learning lyrics, memorizing monologues, stuff like that. I try and at least warm up every single day, so even if I'm not like singing full out songs or whatever, I'm using my voice and at least being maintained in that way, remaining healthy. If I'm sick or if I feel like I'm going to get sick, then I have a tendency to take a rest day and not do anything because I feel like that's better than pushing it and then hurting myself in the long run. I got a lot of questions like, what's your favorite song to sing? My favorite types of songs to sing would be musical theater songs. Right now, I'm learning a song called Me in the Sky from Come From Away. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's a really cool song, and I actually just had a rehearsal with my friend Carter, and we were going through all of the different stanzas of the lyrics, and it just has so much meat in it because it's all about like female empowerment, learning to rise above everybody else even when people are telling you no. Then it hits you in the gutter when it at the end, because then it talks about the plane crash at 9/11 and like where she was at the time. You need to listen to the song. I'll link it down below. It's so emotional throughout the entire song, so I have to learn how to like do all of the different levels, but it's also super challenging vocally, so it's just a really good challenge for me in general. I love a good challenge song for me to work on. I'm gonna say those are the types of things that I really like singing on. Some of these are like, not a question, but I love you. I love you too. Or like, why are you so fierce, queen? It didn't have like the snaps, but I just think that's funny. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Favorite Broadway musical? I could never pick one Broadway musical. I'm going to see Rock of Ages tonight. I'm in New York right now. I have an audition at Marymount Manhattan. I have time to edit a long vlog, so I'm doing this instead. So I'm in New York right now. This is not my home. I know it looks very aesthetically pleasing, it's because it's a hotel, but I am actually going to see Rock of Ages tonight because we are in New York and we did like the Broadway roulette thing, and I think that that's a really good way to see a show if you are having trouble deciding. I have a lot of trouble deciding because I love all different types of music. Overall, I would say my favorite musicals generally geared more towards social change, stuff like that, where it's like the concepts are more contemporary. How old are you? I'm 21. I'm a junior in college. As of now, I'm transferring them, so that's gonna change. When did you start singing? I started singing basically straight out of the womb. I started dancing before I started singing, but I did like a Mommy and Me class when I was 3 years old. That was at a dance studio, but they included some like rhythmic things in there, but also that's what got me into the arts. That's what pushed me into the arts. My mom signed me up for these classes because I had no mind of my own. I started taking voice lessons when I was 11, so there was a big gap between when I was singing and then when I started actually taking it seriously. So I would say that was like 11, 12. It was right when I transitioned from like the younger group to the older group of acting classes when I was with like 18-year-olds. That was a big jump for me in maturity, but also like I knew that I had to start taking it seriously in order to do those types of classes and actually like get the lead roles in those classes, and eventually I ended up doing that, but that's another story. What's something you want your watchers to know about you? I want them to know that I'm approachable. I can talk to you guys about anything that you want me to. This channel is a way for me to get to know you guys better as much as it is for you guys to get to know me better. So if we can form that kind of reciprocation, I think that would be great. Where we can ask each other anything and it's not awkward. I really like how Best Dressed channel, if you haven't checked her out, go do so already. It's not sponsored, I don't know her personally at all, but I feel like she has such a connection with her fans. It's so much like a friendship, and I kind of want to get to that point as well. What inspires you to sing? This also ties into the next question. It's like, what inspires you to sing? What's your favorite part about performing? What made you want to be a singer? Why did you go into music? I think I really like singing because it's a way to express myself in a way that I'm not able to with words. There's just a feeling that I get when I'm on stage that I can't even describe. I really love being on stage and I love performing, but I love telling the story because I feel like the story needs to be told. I think that it's really important to connect with the work that you're sharing. I think that's the main reason why I decided that I wanted to be performing for the rest of my life. And like, that's the same with songwriting too. I haven't published any of my songs yet. If I'm going to in the future, which I probably will at some point in my life, I think that I would want my audience to know it really means a lot to me that I'm sharing the story. That's the most important thing about the song. It's not necessarily about I have to be auto-tuned or the fact that I have this one riff that I really like. Like, yeah, like that's a bonus. The riff is part of telling the story if it's in there. You know, like each ooh means something. I think that's really important, or should be with most musicians. Rihanna or Beyonce? This is a hard, I don't want to peeve anybody off. Okay. I like them both for different things. Like, Rihanna's birthday was just the other day. Like, they're both symbols of female empowerment, especially in the Black community, and I really appreciate what they've done because without them, the music industry wouldn't be the same. They're very unapologetic because I feel like a lot of women feel like they have to be apologetic for who they are, and that's not the case. I would say I relate to Rihanna more if I had to pick one. Not that I can understand what Black woman goes through because I am white as hell, as you can see. When I think Beyonce, I think of her pregnancy photo shoot where she literally looked like a goddess, and I'm like, oh my god. I would say that I relate more to Rihanna personally, and her music. I relate to more Rihanna's music than Beyonce's music. Not to say that Beyonce's not great, because they both are great, but if I had to pick one, I would pick Rihanna. What's the best, worst thing about being at Berklee? I feel like that's a separate video because I have a lot of things to say about Berklee that I can't right now. I would say the best thing about being at Berklee is that I've had the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people there. I wouldn't be where I am without going to Berklee. I would say the worst thing about being at Berklee is that during my time at Berklee, I really haven't felt validated or appreciated in most of my classes. I would say that there's a few that are the exceptions, but I do a lot as part of my job, as a part of being a student. I feel like a lot of that doesn't really get taken into consideration, and I feel like the students' opinions aren't necessarily valued at what they are. They should be. And there's a hi. Hi, nice to meet you. Have you ever had stage fright, and if so, how did you overcome it? I have not the worst stage fright. I don't throw up before I go on stage, and some people do, and that's horrible, and I feel for that. But I always get butterflies before I go on stage. I think I'm going to forget all of my lines. It's actually really crippling, and it happens before auditions too. More so in auditions, I would say, than in shows, because in shows I collect myself and I have more time to get in the zone beforehand, versus auditions it's just next, and it's an unfamiliar setting, versus in a show you usually get to practice with the scenes and whatever, and the set, and you know the people in the show. I would say the ways that I've coped are by doing some grounding techniques. If any of you have anxiety or get stressed, this might help you a lot before you go into an audition, or even when you get stressed, you can go to the bathroom and run cold water on your wrists. Sometimes sitting on the floor or laying on the floor is better, and having your palms out, just breathing and feeling the ground underneath you really helps. And then breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, holding for 4, and just repeating that. And recently I've gotten the tip that sometimes holding your breath until you feel like you can't, and then go 10 seconds longer than you think you can, and then releasing that kind of gets all of your adrenaline out of your system, so that you don't mess up when you're in the audition room, which is really helpful. If that doesn't work, you can always go out into like some place where nobody can see you, and you get something like a shirt or a scarf or whatever, and like you literally like throw the scarf at the wall and you're like yelling obscenities at the wall to get all of that kind of stuff out. I haven't done the last technique, but a lot of people say that it works for them. Those are a couple tips and tricks for that. If you want me to make a whole video on that, then like please let me know in the comments below, because I feel like a lot of people think that's helpful. I mean, I might make that video regardless of whether or not people tell me that's okay. Because I did like a poll and I asked what people wanted me to talk about, and they said like life updates, theater transfer questions. Where I'm applying to is mostly schools in New York. I am currently performing in, I think, 4 cabarets, or I would categorize them as cabarets or musical reviews. So I'm gonna be really busy during the month of April. I have 3 shows during April, and then I have 1 show in March. So all of that is happening right now. This is like another video to talk about in general, but I decided to limit all of my choices to New York schools because I recently got into AMDIC, and that's a really big deal for me. That's something that kind of changed my perspective, and I was like, well, if I got into a school in New York City, then if I get into more schools, and like I won't necessarily want to go to somewhere outside of New York City, so I kind of restricted those possibilities because it's more likely that I'll go to AMDA than any other school, but it's even more likely that I'm going to a school in New York. So that's a life update / a Q&A session. I'm really excited to get to know you guys as much as you guys are going to get to know me. If you guys want to comment down below some things about you guys, like where you're from, your age, what you like to do. I would love to hear more about you guys, because I know that some people are watching, but not a lot of people are commenting, which is fine. Like, I'm okay with that, but like, I just really want to get to know you guys so that we can have more of a communicative relationship. So yeah, I know that'll come with time too, because I'm sure once more people start commenting, other people will feel like it's okay to comment. Because I'm like that too. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be the first one to comment. I want to be cool. But if anybody wants to get that comment ball rolling, I won't complain at all. I hope you guys have a great day. Subscribe if you want, like this video if you want. If you don't like this video, please let me know why in the comments below so I can fix that for you, or try and fix that for you. I mean, I can't change everything because this video is already posted, but maybe I can change future videos. Please let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!